Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to another edition of Whip Around and Find Out special playoff edition presented by the Circle Tap in Denmark and Wander Springs Golf Course in Greenleaf. I'm Gary Whipperman. It's Friday morning. Hope you guys had a great Thursday. I'll tell you, regional finals officially in the books, and well, it gets repetitive after a while, but the girls never disappoint. What a night it was. We had walk-offs, we had extra innings, we had a 1-0 regional championship classic last night. We had a 12-inning marathon, believe it or not. We had a 24 strikeout masterpiece, 24 strikeouts. We had multiple no-hitters, and we had some of the best pitching performances we've seen all season long. The road to Goodman Diamond just got a whole lot narrower. Coming up, our top 10 games of the night, bracket busters, the home run club, the circle of dominance, who's hot, the hard luck hotel, the regional final spotlight, and of course, we close with who's that girl. Let's get rolling. Let's start with our top 10 games of the night. Number 10, Denmark 8, Two Rivers 5. Denmark's offense delivered just, a typical classic big night for Denmark on offense. Addison Pincher put together a monster game with 3 hits, 5 RBI, and a 3-run homer. This is the thing about this Denmark team, you guys. We've been saying it. They did this last year. They're doing it again. It's a different player every night. It's not somebody you'd expect. Yes, you got the big two with Krasnowski and Maggie Frank, but again, just like last season, you've got kids stepping up into the spotlight and making big moments for this Denmark team. Got to watch out for these guys. They're back. They built an early lead, absorbed every counterpunch, and just kept finding answers. When Two Rivers threatened late in the game, Denmark just another big hit when they need it, and this is what this team does. And this, I think, one of the things that we took away from last night is you can say what you want, and of course, talent is always talent, and skill is always skill, but you can't put a price on championship experience, and we'll show you some examples of that tonight. It means something when the kids that have played, at the highest level in our state come back the next year and play again. They have a mental edge, just having that experience. They understand what's involved in getting from the regionals to sectionals to state. You can't put a value on that. It is extremely important to have, and it certainly helped last night. Regional championship softball is just about stars delivering in big moments, and Addie Pincher did exactly that last night. Number 9, Kewaskum knocks off Winneconne 6-3. Kewaskum still looking like that team nobody wants to face right now. Madden Sabish, I know that Coach Sabish has been kind of holding Madden back somewhat, especially from a pitching standpoint. She was in the circle last night, 11 strikeouts, and then helped herself at the plate with 3 hits. Brianna Krause drove in 3 runs. Winneconne collected 9 hits and never went away quietly, but Kewaskum made the bigger plays in the biggest moments. One concern that I have for Kewaskum, just again looking at the box score last night, 5 errors defensively. You can maybe get away with that in a regional. Well, obviously they did in a regional final game. You start talking sectionals, 5 errors, you're probably gonna be going home. So I'm not sure exactly what happened defensively last night with the Indians, but they're gonna have to get that cleaned up for next week when they get their turn with Denmark. What did I say? What did I say the other day as far as a sleeper team? I believe I said DC Everest, watch out for these guys. They could be trouble, and they were trouble last night. Hortonville 6, DC Everest 5. This looked comfortable until it wasn't. Hortonville appeared in control, before DC Everest stormed back behind a massive 3-run homer from Aubrey Klatt. I mentioned 2 names from DC Everest as kids to watch in their regional game. Number 1 was Madeline Hoppy, one of the leaders in the state in home runs. The other was Aubrey Klatt. And Aubrey Klatt hits a 3-run homer last night. DC Everest comes up just a bit short. Grace Donosky picks up the win. Kira Wunderlich closed it out. The Polar Bears survived a big scare last night, and they move on. Number 7, and this also is happening in what we said was going to happen. These games are tighter, they're closer, there's less room in the margins. I mean, you don't see as many. There were some blowouts, but there were a lot of games that were super close, and it's only going to get tighter as we move into sectionals. Number 7, she's been rolling all year long. She had her challenges last night, but they win anyway. Number 7, Medford beats Merrill. That's our number 7 game. Medford 8, Merrill 6. Merrill just would not go away. Every time Medford landed a punch, Merrill answered, and that's what playoff softball is all about. The game really had a feel of a sectional matchup instead of a regional final, but championship caliber teams like Medford find ways to survive difficult nights. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Great teams aren't always great, but they're great when they have to be. And that's what Medford did enough last night. Riley Harabi strikes out. I don't want to say that they, limped their way through, because it wasn't the case. Merrill's very good, but Riley Harabi struck out 14 to help carry Medford through really their toughest postseason test so far. But they remain firmly planted among the D2 favorites. We've been talking about this Medford team since early May, and once again, a big night for them. Number 6, Nina takes down Kaukauna 4-3. When's the last time we haven't seen Kaukauna in the sectionals? I don't think it's been this decade. 2 powerhouse programs, 2 championship caliber rosters, 2 teams capable of making a deep run. Who did I say to watch out for from Nina? I love when these kids make me look like a genius, because you know what? That takes a lot for that to happen. But once again, I said it. I said, who was the player to watch for Nina? Libby Yonke. And wouldn't you know it, Lib delivers a huge home run. Who did I say was one of the most consistent pitchers in the state, game after game, year after year, the last 4 years? Kylie Matthey. Kylie Matthey battled through 7 innings, and Nina made just enough plays to eliminate one of Wisconsin's premier softball programs. Heavyweight softball from start to finish. Congratulations, Nina. Number 5, again, another close one. Beaver Dam 4, Monona Grove 3. Walk-off drama. Everything you want from playoff softball. Monona Grove grabbed momentum early behind Bella Martin's 2-run homer, but Beaver Dam, as we've done all year, they didn't panic. And this is again why you love having kids that play multiple sports. And I know I've beat the drum on this, but I'm going to continue to do it, because having kids that played at the Resch Center in Green Bay for basketball for a state title means when you get them in postseason in another sport, they don't blink. They've been there. Beaver Dam was on the verge of being eliminated several times. They came an eyelash away from winning state in girls basketball. That translates. Emma Julka, just a winner, just a centerpiece of this Beaver Dam program. Layla Linsenmeyer, Layla, and Jolie Dronick, just really not just good kids and not just good softball players, very good athletes and good experience. The Golden Beavers kept chipping away. Then in the 7th, Maricela Lumens delivered the game-winning hit. A season extended, a season ended. And a celebration that erupted immediately, and once again, Beaver Dam wins it 4-3 over Monona Grove. Number 4, you knew these guys weren't going to go quietly. Maybe, they lost some seniors from last year, and, maybe they weren't, they haven't been what they've been the last few years, but You knew that you still had kids on this roster that want, especially the seniors on this year's roster, that want to leave their own imprint on the program. And Pacelli, Pacelli edges out number one Bonduel. That was a big upset last night. Number 4 Pacelli won. Number 1 Bonduel nothing in 9 innings. Sometimes one run feels like 10. This was one of those games. For 9 innings, neither team could crack the scoreboard. Every pitch mattered. Every base runner mattered. Every defensive play mattered. Emilia Martini was sensational for Pacelli last night. The ace tossed a complete game, 6-hit shutout while striking out 8 over 9 innings. That's a huge game for Mint Chip, coming in and pitching a shutout. She did everything possible to put her team in a position to win the game. And in the 9th inning, baby Ella Tess ripped a double. Ella Van Order again. I'm going to keep saying it. Ella Van Order, part of the state basketball championship at Pacelli. Basketball's her number 1 sport, but she comes and plays softball, and she steals home to score the run in the 9th, and Pacelli closes it out in the bottom of the 9th. That was it. 1 run, 1 swing, 1 aggressive base running decision, 1 regional championship. I talked to Coach Bolsky when we saw them at Elman Bancroft, and I said, and one thing that's going to be this year, I mean, you have to do more coaching than maybe you've had to do in past years, just because when you got a Peyton Mansell, I mean, you really just trot her out and she just does her thing and strikes everybody out, and the defense doesn't get much work. And not that Emilia Martini is not a very good pitcher. She is, but they've had to do more work on defense. Some strategic play with base running. I can see Coach Molsky sending Van Order home, and Coach Molsky, when I told her that, had a big smile. She said, "Gary, I love it. This is what I love to do." So, congratulations, Coach Bolsky, Coach Treichel. Big win for you guys last night. 1-0 over Bonduel, and now you'll meet Auburndale. We'll talk about that in a second. Number 3 game of the night. Elman Bancroft holds off Assumption 5-4. One of the finishes of the night. Assumption actually out-hit Elman Bancroft. It didn't matter. Raya Ceballos, been to state, played in big games, knows how to handle big games, strikes out 11, and then helped start the game-winning rally. The Eagles refused to quit. Then came the final moment. And what's the other thing that we've said about postseason? It makes heroes out of unlikely heroes. And she's had a nice season, but last night she stepped into the spotlight and Lacey Bradley delivered the walk-off winner. A fantastic softball game with everything you could ask for. Congratulations, Elman Bancroft, getting the 5-4 win over Assumption. Number 2, these 2 games were hard to say, 1 and 2, but number 2 was Waupun 1, Oshkosh West nothing. Waupun at the adult table, sitting on the phone books. You got Addie Braun saying, "You know what? We're ready for the spotlight. We're ready for the big time." And boy, did they sure show that. You want playoff softball? This was playoff softball. 1 run, 3 hits in the game, 3 total hits. Regional championship stakes. Addie Braun tossed a complete game shutout and never allowed West to establish offensive momentum. On the other side, Izzy Kramer, equally brilliant for Oshkosh West. Izzy Kramer allowed 1 hit in the game. Waupun had 1 hit and they won 1-0. They scored 1 in the first inning, and Addie Braun took it from there. 1 swing, 1 run, 1 regional championship. Waupun moves on to the sectionals. Our game of the night, Richland Center, number 1 Richland Center. This is our number 1 game of the night. Richland Center won, and Gail Ettrick Trempolo 0 in 12 innings. This wasn't just the game of the night. This might be one of the games of the entire postseason. 12 innings, 1 run, and a pitching performance for the ages. Kyrie Fisher strikes out 24 hitters. 24. Fisher threw all 12 innings and simply refused to let Richland Center's season end. Across the diamond, Sam Stanton was brilliant as well, matching 0 after 0 after 0. Neither team could break through. Finally, in the 12th inning, Morgan Kleppe tagged up and scored the game's only run. An unforgettable game. Richland Center moves on with a 1-0 win. An unforgettable performance from Kyrie Fisher, and that's your W7 Productions game of the night. Quick break. We come back. Bracket Busters coming up next. There were a few of them. We'll be back. You're watching W7 coverage of Whip Around, presented by the Circle Tap in Denmark and Wonder Springs Golf Course in Greenleaf. Right back. Welcome back. Whip Around and Find Out, presented by the Circle Tap in Denmark and Wonder Springs Golf Course in Greenleaf. Summer's here. Time to dust the clubs off and get out to Wonder Springs for a nice 18 holes. One of the most picturesque, beautiful courses around in northeastern Wisconsin. Book a day at Wonder Springs. You won't regret it. Okay, some bracket busters from last night. A few favorites saw their season come to an end Thursday night. Seymour falls to Luxembourg Casco 6-4 despite 12 hits. We talked about Kakana falling to Neenah. Oshkosh West loses to Waupun. Winneconne falls to Kewaskum. Bonduel falls in 9 innings, and Crivet's postseason comes to an end at Auburndale. That was our game last night. Auburndale came out to play right from the get-go. They beat Crivets 11-1. It was 2-0 in the third, and there was a pass ball. Taryn Tracy, the pitcher, goes to home to cover the plate, and unfortunately took a awkward kind of step and hurt her knee, and she was out for the rest of the game. And when that happened, you could almost literally feel air coming out of a balloon. I mean, Crivets was really in shell shock the rest of the game. I saw kids on the circle, in tears, and after Taryn went out, her dad had to carry her off the field. And there's just nothing you hate more than that, because she's had such a remarkable comeback from an ACL injury last year, and she'll have to rehab again. I don't know what the extent of the damage is, but here's the thing about Taryn. She's a tough kid. She's a competitor. She's going to UW-Stevens Point for softball. She'll be there. She'll get rehab. She'll get everything corrected. But you got to give Auburndale a lot of credit. They came in last night and took care of business. 11-1. Danica Blomberg, a great night from behind the plate. Morgan Griesbach was fantastic on the circle. We've talked about Crivet's power offensively. They just couldn't get anything going, and that's Morgan Griesbach. She really had a great game for Auburndale. Auburndale moves on. They will play Pacelli next Tuesday at Auburndale. Just a side note, we were there at Auburndale, and the PA announcer kept on the air after the game to give people updates. And when he announced that Pacelli beat Bonduel, the place erupted. And not because they're looking forward to playing Pacelli, but because they get another home game. So that game will be at Auburndale on Tuesday. The Home Run Club last night, it was packed, as it always is. Pace and Stoffel from Mosinee, 2 home runs, 7 RBI. We've talked about these close nail biter games. That was not one of them. Mosinee beats Anago 26-0 last night. Claire Rundy from Belmont, 2 home runs and 3 RBI. Addison Pinchert from Denmark, a home run, 5 RBI. Shaylin Krasniewski set the pace early from Denmark, a leadoff home run. Lauren Shepard, Chippewa Falls. What did we say? Watch out for Chippewa Falls. Watch out for Shep. She's been around. She knows what she's doing. She hits a home run last night. Bella Martin from Nona Grove, a 2-run homer. Libby Yankee from Neenah, a solo homer. And Estella Levis from Pewaukee, a home run and 3 hits. Graceland Wilcox from Wanakee gets a home run. Allie Schwartz from St. Mary Springs gets a home run. So a lot of homers last night, and congratulations to all those ladies. Now time for the Circle of Dominance. Well, you got to start with Kyrie Fisher from Richland Center. 12 innings, 24 strikeouts, complete game shutout. One of the greatest post-game performances you'll ever see. How about Madison Babcock, Fox Valley Lutheran? A no-hitter, 13 strikeouts. Another masterpiece from one of Wisconsin's elite aces as FVL beats Notre Dame 10-0, a no-hitter for Babcock. And you're talking about an offense, Notre Dame, that's been pretty prolific this year. They've scored a lot of runs, but they come into FVL and Maddie shuts them out and throws a no-hitter. That's just Maddie Babcock being Maddie Babcock. Am I surprised? No. Am I impressed? Always. I mean, again, you're talking about a Notre Dame team with a, Kaya Waldrop and Olivia Waldrop that both can just hit and hit and hit. They weren't able to do that last night against Maddie. Amelia Martini from Pacelli, 9 innings, 6 hit shutout, 8 strikeouts. One of the best, toughest postseason pressure performances of the night. She had to do it all. Winning 1-0, you don't have to be perfect, but you got to be pretty damn close. To go 9 innings and not give up a single run. You've got to have really good defense and you've got to have really good pitching. Pacelli had both last night. Emily Johnson from Cedarburg, she just continues to, make our list of just, impressive performances. Another one last night, a 2-hit shutout with 14 strikeouts. She completely shut down Arrowhead and continues adding to one of the most impressive senior seasons in Wisconsin. A 2-hit shutout for EJ as Cedarburg knocks off Arrowhead 6-0. Congratulations, EJ, on another great performance. Allie Schwartz, St. Mary Springs, 16 strikeouts and a home run. Dominated both in the circle and at the plate. Congratulations, Coach Wally and the Ledgers, moving on to sectionals. Allison Geezy, Sun Prairie East. What I say about Sun Prairie East, they're going to lay there in the weeds, not doing much, and all of a sudden in the postseason, they're gonna grab the spotlight. They're doing it again. This is their MO every single year. 15 strikeouts for Geezy, a 2-hit shutout, pure dominance. What about Ashlyn Hunt, Catholic Memorial, the state strikeout leader? I believe with this performance, Ashlyn now has over 300 strikeouts this year. A complete game shutout, 14 strikeouts, a huge postseason performance as Catholic Memorial moves on. Haley Caspery, Lamira. Lamira shuts out Winnebago Lutheran Academy 8-0, a complete game shutout, 8 strikeouts. She allowed just 2 hits. Very stingy last night, Haley. Another huge night for the Lions ace. Congratulations to Haley Caspery and Pip Lapasic. I'm going to get this name right at some point. I've tried Lapacek. I've tried Lapasic. It's Lapasic. Lapasic from Poinette. Another dominant postseason outing. What did we say about Pip the other night on our preview show? Yes, she's had a dominant season, especially the second half of the season. But she's a freshman, and can she step up and perform when the lights get brighter and the margins get narrower? She absolutely did. Pip, a great job last night leading the way for Poynette. I've got her numbers here. Let me just pull this up. Pip, where you at? Complete game, 7 strikeouts, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 3 for 3 with an RBI at the plate. Fellow freshman Kira Childs was 2 for 3 with a home run and an RBI as well for Poynette. They win it over Dodgeville 6-1. Couple other notes. Tinsley Nelson is back. Tinsley Nelson had a great state championship state tournament run last year. Great performance in both the semifinal and final game. It's huge having her back. Looks like Poynette peaking at the right time. You got Addison Mackey, you got Tinsley Nelson, you got Pip Lepasic. They're getting some things figured out. Kira Childs, as we mentioned, a big game last night as well. So Pip now has 234 strikeouts for the year, and Poynette will face Lodi on Tuesday. Okay, Tori Bugles from Johnson Creek, 12 strikeouts, a one-hitter. The Blue Jays rolled over Waterloo 9-1. Thought that game might be closer than it was, but congratulations, Coach Logan and the Blue Jays getting the win, and they advanced to sectionals with a 9-1 win last night. Piper Olson, Grantsburg, Pipe with 11 strikeouts. She allowed just 3 hits, a complete game, regional championship performance as Grantsburg knocks out Shell Lake last night. Grantsburg now regional champs, moving on to sectionals. We'll see. We'll see what this team looks like coming down to the wire here. This is a been there, done that moment for Grantsburg. They've been here for the last 3 years in a row. The team that seemed to get in the way was Fall Creek. Well, Fall Creek lost last night. They're the 7 seed. They got beat 10-0 last night. So Fall Creek is no longer an issue. But again, there'll be teams ready to step up and fill that spot. It won't be easy, but looking forward to seeing what Grantsburg does in the sectionals. Who's hot? Fox Valley Lutheran, 11-0 win over Notre Dame. Babcock with a no-hitter. Nora Probst had 3 hits last night. The Foxes steal 12 bases, everything clicking. We talked about Lamira. Appleton North, a 10-0 win over Menasha. And by the way, Charlotte Radke throws a perfect game in the 10-0 win. I hate to say I told you so, but one thing Coach Nissen's done all year, and I've mentioned this several times, as he's been very smart with the use of his pitching staff. Marty Frega, the pitching coach, does a great job. They've done a very nice job of balancing innings for Evelyn Frega and Charlotte Radke. Last night, they pulled Radke out of the garage and said, you know what? No more governor on the throttle. Just bear down and get down the road. Perfect game. She's fresh. She's rested. She's ready to go. She hasn't thrown, 150 plus innings, which is huge this time of year. And, I hear you, right? I hear it's not baseball, so it's not like they're, blowing their shoulder out. I get that. But still, pitching is a very physically taxing act. I don't care how you're pitching. You're throwing that ball 125 times a night. That takes a lot of stamina, a lot of energy, and you want to be careful. A lot of coaches want to be careful with, not overusing their ace pitcher. And Evelyn Frega has done a great job coming in and helping Charlotte. Congratulations. Appleton North gets the 10-0 win. Valerie Baranchek had a great game last night as well for Appleton North. Mosany, 26 runs, 20 hits. Payson Stoffel drives in 7. This you just feel this thing coming together with Mosany and Medford, and only one team's coming out of there. It's going to be a cage match, no doubt about it. So we'll see how that shakes out. Okay, let's see. All right, we have to hit the Hard Luck Hotel. I know we don't want to, but Oshkosh West, what a great season for West. Lost a tough 1-0 regional final They allowed 1 hit. That's brutal. And they lose at 1-0. Seymour, 12 hits, 4 runs, still lose. A painful ending to a great season for Seymour. Monona Grove, a huge homer from Bella Martin, lost on a walk-off. Ripon tied entering the 8th. I know I'm sounding a little pompous and arrogant here. I don't mean to. It's just, what name did I mention for Laconia to watch out for? Aubrey Maurer, walk-off homer, ends Ripon season. Maurer, a senior. Laconia, Coach Scott, they've been there, they've done that. They know how to win big games, and now we're setting up for an awesome sectional semifinal with Lomira and Laconia. That is going to be phenomenal. That's going to be cinema. I'm telling you. Jeff's live stream will be doing that game. I'm so jealous. Jeff Sauer does a great job. They'll have a great game. Lomira and Laconia next Tuesday. Just a couple things from the spotlight. Auburndale, again, nothing but respect for Tara Tracy and Krivitz. Just a tough loss, 11-1. Auburndale showed they're the real deal. They went 3 for 4 with 5 RBI. Griesbach strikes out 7. They stole 10 bases, and now they're headed back to sectionals. Okay, we are getting to that time of the show. Let's see, where are we at? It's time for Who's That Girl? We're going to skip the nominees and go right to the winner. Kyrie Fisher, Richland Center. Sometimes there aren't enough words. 12 innings, 24 strikeouts, a complete game shutout, and a regional championship. The pressure grew every inning. Kyrie Fisher was there for it. She got stronger and stronger. She struck out 2 batters per inning on average and refused to let Richland Center season end. One of the best postseason pitching performances you'll ever see. Fisher carried her team through 12 innings and into the next round. 12 innings, 24 strikeouts, 0 runs allowed. That's not just dominance, that's legendary. Kyrie Fisher of Richland Center, you are W7's Who's That Girl? All right, that will do it for us tonight. We'll be back on Tuesdays, so enjoy your weekend. Girls, get rested up. Another big week ahead as we get into sectionals, and the path to Goodman becomes even tougher. Tuesday brings the sectional semifinals. Thursday brings the finals. Then it's off to Goodman. We'll be breaking down every contender, every dark horse, every ace, every slugger, and every matchup that we can to decide who plays for a state championship. Thanks for joining us. Ladies, thank you for another unforgettable night of regional softball. You guys are amazing. You've been watching Whip Around and Find Out, presented by the Circle Tap in Denmark and Wander Springs Golf Course in Greenleaf. I'm Gary Whipperman. We are W7, and we are for the girls. Have a great Friday, everybody.